it's me, Shelley, your local caffeinated bot dragon, and welcome to my channel. So today's video is just a wrap up of all of the books that I read in September, along with a short plot discussion / review of every book with no spoilers at all. Alrighty, jumping straight into it, the first book that I read this month was The Sisterhood by Katherine. This book was sent to me by Johnathan Publishers as a review copy. And I mean, just look at this cover. It's so pretty. I can't get over this cover. So, book plot set in a dystopian future. Just a trigger warning, the book does deal with child loss. So if that is something that is triggering to you, please beware. But plot of this book. It's a doozy. Pretty much the government in this book is in charge of everything. From which class you belong to, what you eat, what you wear, even what you're allowed to think. Our main character, Julia / Juliet, she kind of jumps between names, is part of the Sisterhood that is trying to bring down the government. We have quite a few flashbacks between her, Julia, or Juliet's history, as well as the current and what these group of women are going through. There is a bit of self-sacrifice in the book. Honestly, if dystopian future or dystopian fantasy is your vibe, I would 100% recommend this book. I just, like I said, I loved it. I can't remember how many stars I gave it. I think it was a 4-star. But I'll put all of my star ratings down below because I can't always remember what I rated my books when I filmed. But yeah, so The Sisterhood, definitely an up there for you guys, and I would highly recommend. Okay, so second book that I read was The Red Bird Sings by Aoife Fitzpatrick. Hope I pronounced that correctly. If I didn't, I'm sorry. This is yet another review copy that was sent to me by Johnathan Publishers. Again, thank you. The plot of this book, it's a murder mystery, murder trial kind of vibe. Honestly, I did not fully enjoy this book. It felt like the supernatural element that the author added was unnecessary fluff. The writing was good, don't get me wrong, good writing. Just one issue that I had with the writing was we do split POVs in this book, but it's not made clear, so you would be half a chapter down and still not know whose point of view you're reading. Are you reading the best friend's point of view? Are you reading the victim's mother's point of view? Or are you reading the victim's point of view, because it starts before, the book starts before the victim's actually murdered. It is a good book for somebody who enjoys crime, murder mystery, murder trial, journalistic kind of writing, because it wasn't for me. I feel like if it didn't have the supernatural element that the author added of the victim's ghost coming back to tell her story from beyond the grave, I would have enjoyed it more. Don't get me wrong, I love all things weird and creepy, like I said previously in my first video, but some books are just a swing and a miss, and this for me was a swing and a miss. The rest of the writing, good. It was a quick read. I think I read, bear in mind, I only read like a few hours at night. It's a total of, let me just double check here. It is a total of 317 pages. So it was a quick read. I think I read like a week and a half on it. Again, like I said, only read a few hours at night, maybe here and there on a Saturday, but not really much reading done over weekends with this book. But definitely would recommend it to any crime lovers, any journalistic kind of writing, because the book does feel like it's journalistic kind of writing, especially the best friend's point of view. So yeah, for me, it was a swing and a miss, but for you, it might be a great read. So hope you enjoy. That is The Red Bird Sings. The third book I read this month was another gifted copy. This is Girl Goddess Queen by V.E Fitzgerald. This was gifted to me by Penguin Random House Publishers. Again, thank you very much. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. Like you can see, the tabs are still in there, and I actually did this as a buddy read with a group of amazing girls, ladies, that I really enjoyed reading this book with, bonding over some trauma that either or all of us have experienced at some point of our lives. Like, honestly, yeah, who'd hurt you? I really want to know who hurt this author, because woo! So this is a young adult retelling of the Persephone Hades myth. And first off, I absolutely hate Demeter and Zeus. Hence why I'm asking, V.E Fitzgerald, the author, who hurt you? Because wow, the narcissism of these two characters, just, it's up there, like really way up there. So it's also pretty much a coming of age story. Persephone really grows into her power, and Hades is there. He's a breath of fresh air, a new kind of description of Hades, so very good. This is, like I said, a young adult, so definitely under 18s can read it. There is some reference to smut scenes, but it's not explicit, it's just referencing to it, so definitely can recommend this to under 18-year-olds. This was also quite a quick read of total pages, let me just double check here, total pages of 474. We ate this book up as a buddy read in, I think, a week and a half. It was just, it's so good. I can definitely advise, recommend, please, if you love Greek mythology, if you love Hades and Persephone, please read this book. So the fourth book I read this month was Gallant by V.E Schwab, and this was my pre-Halloween creepy season spooky month read. Really got me in the mood for October, excited for my October reads. So yeah, the plot of this book is pretty much, we have Olivia, who is an orphan that receives a mysterious letter one day from her uncle that she doesn't know exist, telling her to come home. So when she gets to the house, which is called Gallant, we are introduced to 3 additional characters, her cousin, and two more characters who pretty much work in the house. They are staff, but they've become part of the family by now, so they're not really written as staff members, but more additional family members. There is a wall in the garden with something spooky and creepy on the other side, and we find out more as we read the book. And we also find out more about Olivia's mother, her father, as well as why Gallant is special. So I would definitely rate this book quite high. I still need to go write my review on Instagram for this book, so you will have my star rating for this book and the other books that I mentioned before down below in the description box. But definitely read this, or read any V.E Schwab. I'm actually looking forward to reading more of this author. Her work is just amazing. I can't get enough of this author's writing, and yeah, I need to get my hands on more books. Alrighty, then the last book I read this month was Glow by Raven Kennedy. This is the 4th book in a series, so I'm not going to give too much spoilers or even plot explanations, because I'm scared of spoiling the first 3 books if you haven't read them. But first things first, It's a dark romance and it's an adult book. This is not a book meant for teenagers. This is not a young adult fantasy. This is 100% an adult fantasy. It does, well, across the series, it does comment on a few dark themes. So please be sure to read the trigger warnings of the book. And like, again, please, not meant for teenagers. The smut scenes are quite explicit. I personally don't mind smut scenes, but if you're a person who don't like reading smut or don't like reading explicit smut, not for you. I fully enjoyed this book. Just a quick plot for the series. I'm not going to go into plot for this specific book. Like I said, don't want to spoil it for any one of you who still needs to read the whole series. I literally finished this morning, so plot is still quite fresh, so I'm going to try and vaguely describe plot. So this is a King Midas retelling, with our lead character Oren, and then we also have a male coming into the picture, Rip, or Ravenger. Can't really give, like I said, I can't give too much info about this book because it will spoil the rest of the series. But we see Oren, the main character of this book, go into quite a bit of growth, experiencing personal growth, growing into her own power, her own strengths, and just being free for the first time in a very, very long time. So definitely can't wait for Gold. I think December is the publication date for South Africa. So as soon as I can get my hands on that, I might actually do a whole series review in one video just to prevent giving spoilers for books or upcoming books. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen about me ranting and raving on my September reads. I really appreciate every single person who takes the time to watch these videos. Please give me a like and a subscribe and hit that little bell so you know when I upload again. Bye, readers.